We're back. And now we're going to the Superman Trinity part of the episode. This was really fun. More family.
Yeah.
More family.
And more Smallville.
Yep. Smallville, family, small.
Mm-hmm.
Superman number 7. Our Town. After what had happened with Superman with the Eradicator, this issue was another laid-back issue where it focuses on the family with Clark and Lois trying to get acclimated with the town that they live in, the small town, and finding places within for their family.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I like this issue, and the reason I like this issue is it kept it simple. We got to see more of Clark Kent, more of Lois, and especially Jonathan just enjoying life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's fun that they're trying to create a life for themselves, and they're really struggling with Clark being Superman. I mean, he's back to superheroics.
Exactly.
And they're also trying to juggle a family life with that, which it seems like that's kind of what Lois and Clark did when they lived in Metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were married, they had, they both held down jobs. Superman still did his stuff.
Yep.
But now they're in a small town and they have a child to raise, and Lois isn't so cool with Clark running off to be Superman
It was funny, that issue where, at the very beginning of the issue, he is helping out a satellite out outer space. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have some time to kill. Let me go help out the rest of the Justice League. And each one of, thank you, Superman, thank you, Batman, I didn't ask for help. Yeah. I thought it would, well, you need to know to ask me next time, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah. He does all, and then he's there at sitting on the ledge of the Daily Planet. The sun comes up morning. He's excited that his city woke up again, and he's very protective. Then he goes home, and they're, well, what are we going to do today? Well, let's go blend in as a family.
Yeah.
It was a great issue to me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and then Lois even, not only asks him no superheroics tonight, but he even gives her the cape.
Right.
Just to make sure, because that's the key to his superheroics. But it is a nice symbol that,
Well, the local fair, they meet Jonathan's teacher. Kathy and her grandpa have a cow judging that they were put the cow in. Mm-hmm. And at first Jonathan is, no, the smell of cow poop makes me sick. And then Lois puts his, covers his mouth, well, we'll be happy to go. Yeah. And they meet with the local newspaper to see if maybe Clark can do a guest reporting. Jonathan is playing a game. And then they go to get some food. That's what I liked about that. Mm-hmm. Do you think Clark is able to balance between being Clark? Well, he is Clark. He's not. He is Clark and he's Superman. But do you think Clark can find the balance between a family life and the super life?
It seems like that should be sort of an extension of what he did in Metropolis. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had a job at that point. He wasn't just working on a farm at that point. And I mean, he is one of the fastest, most powerful characters in the DC universe. He should be able to just kind of do these things on the fly, so to speak. But maybe he does feel the need to step back a little bit. I mean, this world does have heroes, and maybe if New 52 had Superman hadn't died, he could have that family time to himself, but I think he still feels there's a void for him to fill.
One of the little subplots I think that will go off more into the future is Kathy's dad introduces Clark to Doc Brooks, the town's pediatrician. And Doc Brooks is saying, well, this is the little one you told me about, huh? And Clark is kind of uneasy, and you see some of the looks that Doc Brooks is looking at Jonathan a certain way in terms of, is there something peculiar with this kid? Do you think that might play out something in future issues, or was that a red herring just to kind of make Clark feel uneasy?
It's hard to tell. I mean, since they named him and that was a pretty conspicuous appearance, it seems like they would do something with that in the future. Because Kathy's dad or grandpa mentions, this is the kid who takes a lick and keeps on licking. Yeah,
takes a lick and keeps on ticking.
Yeah, and so it seems like Doc Brooks would have kind of an interest in that, and that would be, I mean, that would be the one place to figure out that you might have superpowers is, when somebody puts a needle in your shoulder. Because I think of like there was an old Superman comic where they go to put a needle in his arm and it just bends, and the doctor says, "Oh, that's crazy," and Clark sits there and says, "Well, try another one." As if that would make any difference. But I mean, if he could be outed, that might be one place where it could happen.
Well, of course, I guess you can never have anything go well at a fair because the ticket booth is getting robbed. And Clark had overheard, actually they bumped into Clark and he told Jonathan they're rude because he was, "Get out of my way," or "What do you think you're doing?" And Clark x-rays him and he sees the mask and he sees the gun in the toolbox and he tries to find a way to go and stop him. But Lois and Jonathan wants to go on the last ride before they see the fireworks. Well, Clark says, oh, when he drinks the milk after the cow wins first place, like lactose intolerant, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Lois knows what's going on.
Says he's suddenly developed lactose intolerance, which is kind of one of the goofier ways for Clark Kent to get out of a situation.
Right, but he wasn't going to say anything. She was just going to let it go until that person on the speaker was, "Hey, did you hear that the ticket booth, the box office got robbed?" "Yeah, but the so-and-sos, they were tied up." "Oh, really, Clark?" She was talking, and then, "Was it Batman?" "No, it was someone in like a red flash just came in, and then he melted the guns and everything." And because she had that look.
And you can just tell right at the end, of course, as they're going up, Jonathan's saying, "Up, up, up," and then when we finally get to that, they say, "Up and away."
Exactly.
And that was a lot of fun.
Do you? This issue really shows that they're. Clark is always going to be super heroic. He's always going to go to the good deeds when there's no one else to do it. And he still found time for his family because Jonathan was it seemed like he was down a couple times the episode because this issue where, "Well, Dad's not going to make it." "Oh, but he's there and he's all excited."
Yeah.
That's what I liked is they're going to find that balance in this, they're going to find that balance as a family.
Yeah.
And I liked it when Kathy said, "Oh, like your glasses, Jonathan has little hat and little glasses, everything." I like Jonathan as a character, and Superman #7 continues to develop the family aspect. Trinity #1, Better Together Part 1, Family Dinner. These two issues were a lot of fun, Superman and the Trinity. This one kind of involves the extended family, the Trinity as Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
And we get to see the fun of the three of them having dinner at the Kent family farm.
Yes.
That's...
I think it's the Smith family now.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Clark Smith. Yeah, not going to draw attention to yourself at all.
Before they had the family, you see that Jonathan is out planting seeds out in the garden or out in the field. And he talks about someone was giving away seeds for free. Okay. We'll find out later why that's an important part. But yeah, Lois had actually invited Diana and Bruce to have the dinner, kind of a sit down, and them to get reacclimated, which I thought was pretty cool. And especially until Jonathan hears the doorbell or knock, we never have company. He looks with the x-ray vision because he's not supposed to use his powers unless it's an emergency. And he says, "Well, Dad would want me to keep the family safe," or said, "I'm keep the family safe." He looks out and he scans the bat suit and Diana's bracelets and this wild boar, and he immediately shoots his heat vision at Bruce. So when Superman's coming back, all of a sudden he just sees Bruce flying into the barn.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I did also appreciate how Diana feels the need to bring a boar.
A wild boar. She's carrying it on her shoulders.
Her offering for dinner. And even Bruce mentions, why is that here?
Right.
Like, what is that
and
doing?
And then Clark did as well. Is that a wild boar on my porch?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Interesting.
Yeah. But it's funny because you mentioned reacclimated.
Yes.
This is getting almost sort of new characters introduced because this is, different versions of
Exactly.
Batman and Wonder Woman that Superman knows, and it's a different Superman than they knew, too. So it's almost it's more of like a getting to know you thing, because they're kind of having trouble. I mean, Diana and Bruce compare him to their Superman.
Yes.
He compares them to his Wonder Woman and Batman. He even makes a reference to the old rainbow suit that
Yep.
Batman wore in like a single issue of Detective Comics ever. And Bruce looks and says, I don't have any recollection of this.
I never wore this suit. I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about. But they go off their little talk, and then Diana and Lois have their talk, because in this universe, the 52 universe, Diana and New 52 Superman were romantically involved, and in the pre-Flashpoint universe, Lois Lane had a friendship with Wonder Woman. So they're trying to find that bond of, this is not my Superman, I'm not your Wonder Woman, but there is a kindred soul between us.
Yeah, and that's what Wonder Woman picks up on just by looking at Lois. She says that Lois has a look like how does she phrase it? Like a wounded animal.
Yes, exactly.
That I think she viewed the possible tension with Lois and
Right.
trying to diffuse that on her own, and that was even without Lois saying, "Hey, where I came from, we were buddies." I mean, it's kind of establishing that friendship
Right.
itself, and it almost sort of reminded me of like how pre-Flashpoint Wally West is sort of reconnecting all these memories. It's not happening with him,
Right.
but it's those relationships being recreated in this new universe.
Yes. We talked earlier, I brought up the seeds. Throughout the issue, we see these vines that start growing throughout the farm and at the barn. And at the very end, Clark is there. He said, "Do you hear a voice coming from the barn?" He goes into the barn, and the mirror, you see a reflection, but it's not him. It's of a time before with Clark Kent's, John Kent, his father, and him on a tractor when he was young. Do you think that has something, it has to do something with the vines or something? Because they brought a point of this guy was giving away seeds and they were free and I saved money. Oh, that's good. And then they show throughout this issue the vines growing. And then at the very end, Clark is looking at the mirror and seeing maybe it's a memory of something or a gateway into another universe, the old universe. Something's going on with that.
And it looks like Bruce and Diana could see that too
Yes.
at the end, because they looked a little puzzled at the end too when they were looking into the
Right.
barn. So that'll be interesting to see what's going on here.
Definitely. The Trinity #1 issue was really cool in fact that it brought together the family, and even though there are some fundamental differences between New 52 Universe and pre-Flashpoint, the characters still are drawn together. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Lois, and now you have Jonathan. And they're all drawing together. But now with this kind of this remembrance mirror, if you will, I think we're going to get a story arc of them on an adventure.
Yeah, and probably solidifying those bonds as a team to sort of recreate the Trinity with the New 52, Batman, Wonder Woman, and pre-Flashpoint Superman.
Right. Well, this wraps up this episode of Comic Book Cove. Any thoughts on any of the titles we discussed this week? Any wrap-up final discussion?
Well, this definitely draws to a conclusion, this DC family reunion.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And also the conclusion of another fairly confounding title in Justice League. So
Confusing, definitely. Well, if you have any opinion or feedback, drop us a line at our Delve Into the Void site on YouTube and Facebook. Until next time, I'm Tom Morris.
And I'm Josh Holderbaum.
And keep reading, keep enjoying pop culture, and we'll see you next episode.